Hey, hey, hey. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Ugh. Getting ready to start this Facebook Live, if I could hold my paper. As you can see, this is a different background. We are actually at the Kennedy Center tonight, and so I wanted to make sure I didn't miss this live. I almost missed it though, y'all. It's almost 7:30. It might be 7:30, but I wanted to say hey. And as you can see, I'm outside the Kennedy Center. That's the infamous Watergate Hotel behind me. And I'm holding my phone, so bear with me. I hope it's not too shaky, but I had to do it today. Shameen, hey Shameen, you're waiting on your results. So are we. What's up, Daddy-O? That's my father joining, Jerome Page. I thought it was important that we not miss this live today, because today we're paying homage to Henrietta Lacks. She's one of our ancestors now, and if you all are familiar, you know that scientifically she's important to our community because her cells were the basis of the creation of the immortal HeLa cells, and those are, of course, the base of many medical studies. Hi Mark, hi Lloyd, welcome. And her cells were used without her knowledge, and so much of the advancements that have been made in research are due to the involuntary donation and use of her cells. And this is of particular importance to us. I'm right by the airport too. You can hear the planes. It's of particular importance to us because at African Ancestry, we knew about Henrietta Lacks, and the way that her genetic material was handled was important and informative for us in not using your DNA for any other purpose besides ancestry tracing, and making sure that our lab destroys all of your genetic material. So we're not researching or selling or sharing any of your information, personal, financial, or genetic. And we do that because we are Black owned and because we are in the business of being Black. And you are our customers, and we know that you want your DNA and all of your material handled confidentially and ethically. In fact, you all may have seen a press release or a stories that have come out today, hey Evan, about these new privacy principles. And the way that the story is written is that there's an organization that has standardized, they worked with different DNA ancestry testing companies to standardize some privacy principles. And so, of course, hey LaQuavia, we signed on as a supporter of those principles, but I want to be very clear. We didn't need those principles in order to know how to handle our business. We've been living and abiding by those principles since before most of those companies even existed. So from day one, 15 years ago, we were handling your genetic information with privacy and confidentiality. And so we're happy to see that other companies are getting on board, but let's make it very clear. We've been there from the beginning. Hey Malika, that's a pretty name. Kavari, thanks for joining. So another thing that's important about today, in 1960, the country that's now known as Benin, it formerly was known as Dahomey, they declared their independence from France today, August 1st, 1960. So we're happy about that. Niger is going to be celebrating their independence on August 3rd. And Burkina Faso is going to be celebrating their independence on August 5th. And I'll actually be in New York with the Burkina Bay community in New York this Sunday. They're celebrating their Independence Day, and they've invited the DNA traced Burkina Bay. That's the name for people who are from Burkina Faso. They've invited all of you from the New York tri-state area, even down to Philly and Delaware to come join us and join them as they celebrate Burkina Faso's independence. And they're going to be teaching about the ethnic groups that everybody comes from. They've got gifts and presents for you. So if you live in the tri-state area, you got an invitation. If you didn't get an invitation by email from me, then please contact us in the office so we can get you the details. That's right, Stephanie. Stephanie says you are who your forefathers are without doubt or contradiction. So I agree with that. Let's get down to hot topics. So our mission is to transform the way we view ourselves and the way we view Africa. And we do that by helping people reconnect to the continent of Africa with their DNA. And what do we mean by that? Transforming the way you view yourself and the way you view Africa. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Desta. Oh, you got a pendant? All right, Desta. It's going to be so beautiful. You're going to love it. Desta got a, she says she ordered a Sierra Leone pendant. I'm rocking Nigeria, as you all know, every month, every week. I do that. Hey, Dante. Hey, Wanda. So what we mean by that is once people find out where they're from, they look at themselves differently. I was with Wendy Cherry today. She is the visionary of the Goddess, Goddess Awakening. And she has a podcast called The Sanctuary. And Wendy talked about it. She said that, you know, it's important to know who you are. And our ancestry is a very important component of ourselves that we don't know. And when you find out the people that you share ancestry with on the continent, the country, the traditions, the practices, the values, the beliefs, you can't help but look at yourself differently. You can't help but be transformed. You have leapt past this period of time, a very small period in our history known as slavery. And while many people throughout the world want us to be defined by slavery, that was just something that we went through. We come from very rich, very old, very deep traditions, and finding out which ones you're associated with help you to view yourself better. You stand taller, you're prouder, you are smarter because you know more now. You're a global citizen in a way that you weren't before. Okay, let's see. Oh, what do people do when they get their results? They do all sorts of things. They travel, they invest, they start philanthropic organizations. They do all sorts of things. They learn languages, they connect with people here in the States that come from the countries that they share ancestry with, like we're going to be doing with the Burkina Bay from Burkina Faso on Sunday. So there's so many different things that people do. They become culturally sensitive, more culturally aware. It's a powerful work. It's a powerful work. And then the other thing that happens is that we start to dispel these stereotypes, these negative stereotypes and these myths that have been built up between us as the diaspora and our brothers and sisters and cousins in Africa. Just like we don't get any positive information about them, they don't get any positive information about us. And when we learn that we're all part of the same tribe, so to speak, those walls break down. Hey, Tina, thank you. Shavana, thank you. Charles said you didn't get the specifics you were that I'm talking about. Well, Charles, what did you get? Because we tend to give people a lot of information. We tell you the country, the ethnic group, if it's Africa, and you have membership to the online community, which is now on Facebook. Shout out to the African Ancestry online community. They hold it down over there. You also get the African Ancestry Guide to West and Central Africa that gives you some history and culture about the people that you share ancestry with. So let us know what you didn't get, and we can make sure to point you in the right direction. I talked about the African Ancestry online community, and they're rocking over there. So once you find out where you're from, you can join that community, and they are a community of people that have taken our test, that are sharing resources and information. There are people in there like Fode and Dante and all kinds of people that Naja, that are helping us to educate each other about the people and the groups that we share ancestry with. I wanted to share a quick story with you before I run. There are some Americans waiting for me, actually. And let me tell you, so in 2010, we were part of a delegation of 54 people who had taken our test, and we traced their ancestry to Cameroon. So when we arrived at Dulles Airport in DC, everybody was an African American who had taken our test. After the plane ride to Cameroon, when we got off the plane in Douala, they became Cameroonian Americans. They got off the plane as Cameroonian Americans. Let me interject here. Whitney says expensive though. You know, Whitney, it's all about value. It all depends on what kind of information you value in terms of whether or not you deem something expensive. And one thing that's different between us and the other companies is that our test result is something that you can share with everyone in your family on one branch of the family tree. When you take these other less expensive tests, you get less specific information and you can't share it with anybody except your brothers and sisters. So I was at a family reunion, one person took the test, 90 people in the room shared the ancestry. I wouldn't call that expensive. I would call that invaluable and something that you could share with the family. Deborah, thank you. You took the test. Did you get your results yet? Let us know what your results say. Okay, so they got off the plane. They were Cameroonian Americans. After maybe 2 or 3 days going across the country of Cameroon, they were Camericans. They had shortened from African Americans to Cameroonian Americans to Camericans. That's how deep this identity work goes. The way people view themselves can change in an instant. And not only do they call themselves Camericans, but now the Cameroonian community here refers to people who've taken our test as Camericans if they get Cameroon as a result. So it's a very exciting, you're right, Malika, it's about family and truth. So yeah, that's what I wanted to tell you about that. Some of the things you can do once you find out your, oh, okay, Deborah, you got a few more weeks to go. All right. Some of the things you can do once you get your results, you can plan a family dinner and share the results with your family. You can get on Skype and get everybody, or Zoom, you know, one of these webinars, and get everybody in the family across the country together. You could have a naming ceremony. You could do some research as to the names, or find someone in the area who comes from that country to help you. So there are a lot of different things you can do, and we will explore some of these things. And if you've done, if you could tell us and share with us how you've shared your results with your family, we'd love to hear that as well. Okay, let me see what else I got to do before we go. I talked about Wendy Cherry and the Sanctuary podcast. We'll let you know when her podcast goes live. She's a homegirl here in DC. We traced her to Cameroon. That must be the theme for today. We have a quiz online, Find Your Tribe. I encourage you to take that and see what you find. If you haven't taken our test, it's really interesting. And if you have, you can compare your answers to what we actually found in your DNA. Interestingly enough, Moses asks, how different is our test from a court-honored paternity test? Well, it's different. We're not looking for relationship, and a paternity test doesn't tell you ancestry. So they're similar in terms of, you know, being swabs of the cheek and being able to trace a paternal lineage, but the type of DNA that we look at is different, and the answers that we're seeking are different. Pamela Jolly, oh my God, I told you guys about Pamela Jolly. Now, you want to talk about a brilliant mind. I talked about her last week. What's up, Pamela? Pamela is an amazing, good Dr. Reverend business mind. Let me tell you, Pamela will tell everybody, I love 3 things. My family, God, and black people. I think that's it, Pamela. Or God, business, and black people. All that's together. But Pamela's working with an initiative out of Detroit. I was with them last weekend, and we revealed the ancestries of about 17 or 18 men in this program, the Campaign for Black Male Achievement. And when I tell you, it was When I tell you it was a powerful experience, these black men have been exploring how they can work together to build the community in the cities that they live in economically, using Pamela's narrow road model as a model for building legacy wealth. And so thank you, God, business, and black people. Yep, I was close. She loves her family too. And so thank you, Pamela, for the work that you do. Pamela was also revealed this weekend. Would you all believe she sat on her results for 2 weeks? I mean, no, did I say weeks? 2 years. She sat on those results for 2 years. And I'm not going to publicly announce her results, but because we're all about confidentiality, that's how I started this Facebook Live. We don't sell, share, or research your personal or genetic information. So shout out to you, Pamela. I want you all to take our quiz. You'll see it in the link. Like I said, if you're Burkina Faso results and you live in the New York tri-state area, reach out to us. I'd love to meet you on Sunday at the event. Thank you to our Uber Facebook producer, Ty Brooks. She helped me get this going on the run, but I'm about to go see The Color Purple here at the Kennedy Center, so I got a dash. I thank you all. Let us know your questions, comments, concerns, and we'll see you next week on our Facebook Live next Wednesday at 7. Bye-bye.